This program is brought to you by Link TV for educational and non-commercial use only.
At the annual policy conference of AIPAC, presidential candidate Barack Obama declares Jerusalem an undivided Israeli city. But most countries, including the U.S., do not recognize Israel's annexation of Arab East Jerusalem. Is Obama serious? And is Jerusalem a unified city? Answers to these questions and more on Link TV's Mosaic Intelligence Report.
This past Wednesday at the annual policy conference of AIPAC, the American Israel Public Affairs Committee, presidential candidate Barack Obama drew a standing ovation when he pledged his unshakable commitment to Israel's security if he's elected president in November, and declared that Jerusalem should stay an undivided Israeli city.
The Palestinians need a state that is contiguous and cohesive, and that allows them to prosper, but any agreement with the Palestinian people must preserve Israel's identity as a Jewish state with secure, recognized, defensible borders. And Jerusalem will remain the capital of Israel, and it must remain undivided.
The day before, Secretary of State Condoleezza Rice seemed hopeful to reach an agreement between the Palestinians and the Israelis before the end of the year. Israelis have waited too long for the security they desire and deserve, and Palestinians have waited too long amid daily humiliations for the dignity of a Palestinian state, she said. But no one cheered and no one stood up. The fact of the matter is, Rice's statement in front of one of the United States' most influential lobbying groups is more realistic and more in tune with the facts on the ground. The United States and other international powers do not recognize Israel's annexation of Arab East Jerusalem following the 1967 war. Their embassy and those of most other countries are located in Tel Aviv. When it comes to Jerusalem, Obama can talk the talk, but can he walk the walk? In reality, Jerusalem is a divided city. It has been divided since 1948, an Arab city and a Jewish city.
Jerusalem is part of the 6 points that are subjects on the negotiations agenda. And the whole world knows that East Jerusalem, Arab Jerusalem and Holy Jerusalem was occupied in 1967, and we will not accept an independent Palestinian state without having Jerusalem as the capital of a Palestinian state. I believe the case is clear.
In 1967, Israel conquered East Jerusalem and later annexed it in violation of all international laws and United Nations resolutions. In spite of this, the city remains divided, not through international borders and an armistice line, but through psychological barriers and the discriminatory policies that Israel has imposed over its Palestinian residents for more than 40 years. Under Israeli law, Palestinian residents of Jerusalem are not considered citizens. They are not even considered permanent residents. Instead, they are considered temporary residents. Under this discriminatory policy, any Palestinian Jerusalemite would lose his or her legal residency in the city if he or she lives abroad for more than 3 years. On the political level, Palestinians living in Jerusalem do not have the right to vote in the Israeli Knesset. Imagine if a certain ethnic group living in Washington, D.C. were not allowed to vote in the congressional or presidential elections. Furthermore, Palestinian Jerusalemites are forced to pay the Israeli Arnona tax, taxation without representation. On the socio-economic level, under Israeli rule, Jerusalem has been divided into a city for the haves and the have-nots. After 40 years, Israel has yet to upgrade the infrastructure of its debilitated Arab neighborhoods. The stark difference between the two Jerusalems is clearly visible to the naked eye, and for a candidate like Obama, who prides himself on being a candidate for change. Perhaps for a change, he should stop pandering to interest groups and take a hard look at the facts on the ground. Perhaps he should walk the streets of Jerusalem and see the reality for himself, just like former President Carter and others have done. The true tale of two cities. I'm Jamal Dajani for the Mosaic Intelligence Report. To learn more about this program or to share your thoughts, visit us at linktv.org/mosaic.
This program was brought to you by Link TV for educational and non-commercial use only. Link TV is the only U.S. television network devoted to global and national news. with uncompromising documentaries and diverse cultural programs. Programs which connect you to the world.